This episode has been a Strategic People's production sponsored by Samaj Music Group. All rights reserved, 2018.
Thanks for tuning in to 1Lafayette Radio Music Station podcast, representing the 337, the flatlands of Lafayette, Louisiana. It's your girls, Lane Marie.
And Daisha Nicole.
Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell for notifications for our up-and-coming shows and to catch up on past episodes on the 1Lafayette Radio Music Station. Today's highlights are our topic of the day, how to attract your perfect partner, quote of the day, and tip of the day. How you doing today, Daisha?
Girl, I'm doing good. I'm tired, but I'm all right.
Come on, girl. Give me some energy. This is a good topic today.
I can't. I'm tired.
Well, I'm going to give you some of my energy. I'm going to feed that to you.
Yeah, give it to me. Give it to me.
Well, I'm doing well today. Can't wait to jump into today's topic. I want to give a special shout out real quick to my good friend Quintessa, y'all. She actually gave us this topic idea for today, and I'm super excited to share it with everyone.
Well, before we jump into today's topic, anyone who's looking for music for their next production or film projects, be sure to check out strategicpeoples.com. There's over 100 unique beats to choose from. If you're looking for sound beds, film scores, jingles, or beats, these guys can definitely handle it. Jingles made me think of the Jamie Foxx show. Oh. Remember that? You ever watch it? No?
Yes, I did watch it. Wasn't he working on a jingle?
Something like that.
Type of company?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's what it made me think about.
Well, today's topic, how to attract your perfect partner. I'd say first and foremost, guys, you have to be open to love and have an idea of what your standards are. It's important to have standards, but also be realistic and be open to compromise. And age does play a major role in what you should be willing to accept in your partner.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say, for example, if you're dating and you're in your 20s, it's a whole lot different versus dating in your 30s or 40s. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
For someone that's in their early 20s or mid 20s, they may tolerate and be more patient with the partner who's maybe still trying to find themselves in terms of a career or personal goals, good habits, etc.
Right.
Whereas the older you are, let's say you're dating in your mid 30s, early 30s, or even going into your 40s, that person got to come correct.
They got to come with it, baby.
Normally, you learn, you experience, and you grow it as a person. So your tolerance level when you're at that age for those things that I just mentioned is slim to none.
Mm-hmm.
Your partner needs to come correct, meaning, in the sense of a career path, maybe owning a home or on their way to home ownership. If there's kids involved, taking care of their kids, basically having their own means in life, and you getting with them is only adding value to the relationship and not you coming in and trying to teach another adult how to adult, if that makes sense. So.
And that's a job. That's a job all by itself when you're trying to teach an adult how to adult.
Like Michelle said, baby, you can't raise a man. So, I'm going to just give you a little bit about my story. Like, when me and Broderick first got together, y'all all know I had been through a lot. And I had a little list. I had some standards.
Mm-hmm.
And I told my best friend, I said, look, if he have kids, that's an X.
Ain't nothing.
If he ever been married, that's an X. Those are deal breakers for me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we had the conversation. I was like, you have kids?
All the above, child.
Everything I said that I wasn't going to accept, I was like, I'm cool. And let me tell you why. At that point, I was willing to compromise because everything before that question came up, was like checking off everything I said I wanted in a relationship and in a man. Mm-hmm. Like, we were on the same path as far as our goals, where we seen ourselves 5 years from now. He was handling his business. He was taking care of his kids. He had a job, but his excitement and his passion for his future and what he wanted to achieve was dead on with what I wanted to achieve. So just think, if I would have just been like, you know what, I'm sticking to my list, these exes, they matter to me and I'm not compromising, then I'd have missed out on a whole life of happiness and joy. So that's why I said, you have to be open to love, but you also have to be open to some type of compromise. If that compromise, overshadows like the meat and the potatoes of the relationship, then I would say, think it through. But the compromise for me, it didn't overshadow the meat and the potatoes of the relationship. And in my opinion, it was a small thing versus it's taking a life of its own, and it's going to be detrimental to the relationship, if that makes sense. So like a good sign of knowing, you've possibly found the one is having that familiar feeling. Like when you first meet that person, it's like you've known them for a long time. The bond is deep, the connection is there, it's deep. It's usually hard to explain. And that's how it was for me. Like, that first 6-hour conversation we had, it's like, it's like I know him. Like, we connect, like we attract like magnets. It wasn't just a physical thing. It wasn't none of that. It was deeper than that for me. So that's kind of a first sign. It was easy, eye-opening communication. So that's a good telltale sign. So if you have that when you're first meeting somebody, that's a good thing. The two of you have very similar interests. Y'all both can learn and grow from one another and together, and you're able to express your true, authentic self. Like you're not afraid to share with that person, everything that you desire or everything that you fear, like you could just be totally yourself. Or whether that's,
You see, all that you're saying, though, I think you could be tricked. I think you could be tricked into thinking that they're the right person when you don't understand who you are.
Yeah. And we're going to touch on that.
You got to know your worth in order to attract what you need. And when you don't know that, you can really be tricked by thinking, oh, we go, and because he can have all that, y'all can click, y'all can vibe, everything could be good. He can understand you. You could be your own self, your raw, true self. But he may be a mama's boy.
Right. Which leads me to I'm giving y'all 7 tips today. So you might want to get a paper and a pad if you need to hear this. Which leads me to my first tip. All right. You have to know yourself. So I'm glad you brought that up because that's tip number 1. If you don't know who you are and what you want, how are you going to attract what you want in a partner?
Right.
Get honest with yourself in terms of your values, your principles, your core beliefs, and what you appreciate in life. Because if not, your perfect partner can be right under your nose and you may not recognize him or her. So that's number 1. Get honest with yourself. Get real. Know yourself. Know who you are.
Because if you don't, you can miss out. Like you're saying, I had somebody that was into a guy and she liked him, he liked her or whatever. But she was afraid of, I'm not going to say afraid, but she didn't really understand who she was. So she didn't pursue it. Like it didn't go anywhere because she felt like he was better than her. Right.
Oh.
And that wasn't even the case.
Right.
But she didn't know who she was at the time.
Yeah.
And that was a big mess up. And I felt like if she knew,
could have been beautiful.
Right. It could have really, it really could have worked.
Yeah.
So it's important to know. So, but child, we don't be understanding ourselves till we maybe 30.
I know. A lot of the light bulbs for most of us goes off around that age. So if it haven't clicked for you yet, I'm sorry to say, it may not never. Tip number 2, be yourself. At all costs, be yourself. Analyze your life and see if you're stuck in a program in life by following the pack, or if you're leading by truly being and doing what your heart truly desires. The more you are your authentic self, the more you will attract a partnership that is truly right for you. I cannot stress that enough.
I believe that.
You can only pretend for so long. I've been in relationships where the guy basically played a role based on the things that I said I wanted. Okay? Played a role Everything I said I wanted in a man, he was acting as that. But time told the truth.
Yep.
You know, when he got comfortable with the relationship and he thought he had me, so to speak, and I was, you know, he thought I was never gonna leave him. Then that's when the true self came out, and I was like, whoop whoop, pump the brakes. It's not what you think it is, because I sense that. Like your partner, they're gonna always sense some type of off balance with the thing, because like I said, not only you can pretend for so long, but if you're not who you say you are, you can't keep that role up for long. You're gonna get tired. You're gonna wear yourself out. Then the lying come into place. Then
they get frustrated.
Exactly. So it ain't costume time. Be yourself. You're not playing a role in a play. You're not playing a part in a movie. Be yourself. If that person can't take who you are, that person is not meant for you. Tip number 3, live in your true resonance. Surround yourself with the things you love to do, the people you enjoy being around, your happy place in life. Okay? The more resonance you have in your life, the more you attract people who are compatible with you, such as your likes, your lifestyles, and your activities.
Okay.
So if you're happy all the time, you're going to attract happy. And on the flip side of that, if you're mad, upset, you're going to attract that into your life too. So always be in true resonance.
Do you feel like people should compromise?
In terms of?
Like, you don't like football, but the person you're with like it. Should you feel like you have to entertain it to please your partner?
I feel like this. If you love somebody, you're going to naturally take an interest in what they're interested in. And that goes back to say, live in your true resonance, be, you know, yourself and all this and that, and you're going to attract that into your life. Example, true life. I didn't watch basketball before me and Bridget got together. NBA finals came around 2005, I believe it was. I just wanted to spend time with him, but he was interested in the finals. So I was like, well, let me sit down and try to understand this. And of course, I'm sitting down asking 1,000,000,001 questions. I know
Killing
I'm
him.
aggravating the crap out of him.
Yeah.
But he's sitting down. He's not angry. You know, he's answering my questions. And now I got a love for basketball. So at that point in time, not only was I spending time with him, but I learned something new. I wasn't too stuck in a box to say, hey, I don't like basketball, never gonna like basketball, da-da-da-da. No, I sat down, I said, you know what? Well, let me see if I can enjoy this too. Okay. And I did. I tried it with football. I don't like football. I don't understand it, and I don't want to understand it. But guess where I be on Sundays if I want to spend some extra time with him?
Watching
on the couch,
football.
watching football with him. Still asking a lot of questions. No, I'm not going to understand.
Okay, let me give you another one. Let me give you another one. What if you enjoy dancing and your partner doesn't like to dance much, like, and he don't want you to dance? Should you say, the love I have for you, I'm gonna compromise. I'm not gonna dance when we go somewhere. Should you do that?
I would say no, because a part of you is dancing, and that goes back to where your partner. You have to know who you are, and if your partner loves you wholeheartedly and wants to see you happy and you're thriving, most likely when you're dancing and having a good time, if it's good, clean fun, I don't see why you have to sacrifice good, clean fun because your partner feeling some type of way about that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, you got to sit down and ask yourself, how much love my partner have for me to take something away from me that's special?
Right.
You know? So, which leads me to tip number 4. You have to be a whole person. If you're a whole person, then you will attract a whole person. If that makes sense. You won't attract a half person waiting to be completed, because at this point, you're operating from a place of wholeness. Your partner reasons for being a part of your life is to compliment you, helping to grow you, and vice versa. So you know how they say, oh, real recognize real?
Right.
So if you're a whole person, you're going to send somebody who's not at your level yet a mile away. You're not even going to entertain that. nothing that person is going to be able to do or say going to sway you to, or entice you, so to speak, to be able to want to deal with them, because not saying you're better than them, but that's not what you want in your
What do
life.
you mean when you say a whole?
A whole person, meaning like everything I said, knowing yourself, setting your standards, knowing what you want in your life, operating in true resonance, all that stuff. That's whole.
Okay. So what if the wholeness doesn't come until years into the relationship?
I can say I looked out.
But you done attracted something else.
I can say I looked out. Because when I met my husband, I wasn't a whole person yet. I had ideas of what I wanted, but not knowing the things that I set forth and, knew what I wanted, not knowing that I was striving to become a whole person, not knowing what that was at that point in time.
Do you feel like he was whole?
No.
Okay.
We both wasn't whole.
Okay. So that's why it maybe worked out.
Yeah, but we knew where we wanted to go. And like I said from the beginning, those little small compromises didn't overshadow the relationship. I wasn't too selfish, or he wasn't too selfish to take the things away from me that mattered in my life. You see what I'm saying? Like, I've been in relationships with guys where it was all about them, never about me, and I was the only one making compromises. That don't work. You know what I mean? So when me and my husband met, we were both in a place in our life where we wanted better. We had experienced the bad. We wanted the good. And we both knew what we needed to bring to the table to make that work. Whereas some people, they don't know what they need to bring to the table yet. Because maybe they never had those experiences yet to make them aware of the things that they need to bring to the table. If that makes sense.
So do you think like, because sometimes we can think, I have this, and this, like, girl, I be struggling to get my shit out. It's like it's so much in my brain that it's trying to come out. It's almost like it's no rules to attract the perfect person. If I make sense. Because it's like you can get with somebody and they could be perfect at that time for you. I think it's all about evolving with the person.
Yeah. That's most important too.
And then when you don't evolve, it's like the relationship comes to a standstill. Like,
you remember what we was talking about on the last podcast when I was talking about you have to reevaluate your wants and your needs as time goes on. Because here we are coming up. Next year is gonna make 15 years of marriage for us. But what we want and need now at year 15 is not what we wanted and needed in year 2.
Right.
So if you and your partner is constantly, going back and say, hey, let's reanalyze this. Let's reanalyze our needs and wants for our relationship. I feel like it's always going to be good because you got that in the back of your mind knowing, hey, we're growing. We're growing together. So for me, key word is growth. If you're not growing, you're dying. You know what I mean? And that's not just in life, but that's also in relationships. So you can't do what you did 5 years ago to your spouse. They may have tolerated that 5 years ago, but today it may not be, it may not even be part of the plan today.
Right.
So
I think that's an important tip to slide in there. It's important to grow. It's important to evolve.
Yeah.
And
as a couple.
Right. Yeah. Because sometimes when one person is and the other isn't, it's a strain on the relationship, the marriage, whatever the case may be. It's a strain because it's like you start to look at them like you don't get it. You don't get me. I used to, or we used to, but now.
And this is what I would say too, because in the relationship, there's always going to be one person who may be up on game, so to speak, on things in life, and that a partner may not be there yet, but it's not for that partner that's I don't like to use the word woke, but we're gonna say woke,
right?
In parentheses, that may not be there yet, but that partner that's woke, it's not on them to be bashing their spouse or their partner and be like, this is this, that is this, and trying to rush them into understanding your understanding, because everybody have their own time and,
their own reality.
Exactly, on how to compute things in their mind and make it make sense for them.
Right.
So I would say, like, in our relationship, there's a lot of things that, my husband understood long before me. And he would have conversations with me about it. And I would be like, nah, that's on you. I'm going to stay where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
But through time and growth and learning, I'm like, okay, I understood what you was talking about 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense to me now. But he ain't never beat me over the head and be like, you know what, you're not on my level, this is that, or try to even impose his thoughts and his beliefs on me. He allowed me to get there.
Yeah.
So I think that's important too. You have to allow your spouse time to get there.
Girl, understanding is key.
And grow and help them grow.
Right.
Feed them information. You know what he would do? He would feed me quotes. He would feed me books. He would feed me, little chapters and inserts of things that he would find and allow me to get there on my own.
Mm-hmm.
So time, patience, that's all key to growth. So, which lead me to tip number 5. You have to look deep. Go past the appearance. When you connect deeply with someone, it's like your souls intertwine, and when that happens, you're able to experience genuine, authentic characteristics of that person. And you will not only be attracted to that person mentally, physically, or spiritually, and emotionally, but it will keep you excited about experiencing life with that partner. So, like, you see couples and you'd be like, well, she's too pretty for him. Or he's too cute for her.
Yeah.
Like, how they got together.
They get each other, though.
Exactly. They look past that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in previous relationships, through joking, you'd be like, ooh, I dated a booger. Or whatever.
Yes,
But I used to always say, it's not all about looks for me. I learned that from an early age. It's not always about looks. That person could add so much value to you. So if you're a shallow person all about looks, then, baby, you need to soul search.
I remember when Flava Flav came out.
Flavor Flav.
Girl, that was like the best reality show ever.
Yeah.
But when he first came, I was a fan. When he first came out, Flava was so ugly. God forgive me.
I was like, how could those girls kiss this man?
But the things he would do, I'm serious. The things he would do, I'd be like, I date Flav.
Yeah.
He was so, and I know it was probably all for TV and all of that, but just the things he would do and how he would, connect with each one of them. I would be like, shit, I'll date me a Flav. It don't even matter.
It's not about the looks.
Come here, you little roach.
That can change overnight, fast, quick, in a hurry. A life-altering situation can change those looks. And then now, what you gonna do? What you gonna do?
Yeah. So, now you're stuck with a whole something else.
Yeah. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Mm-hmm. Just because you think somebody is a jabooga, like we used to say, and not all that, somebody else finds that person attractive. Mm-hmm. So that's why I say you have to look deep. It's not all about the surface. It's about what's on the inside. Yeah. Because think about this. You can go to the dealership and buy a brand beautiful, spanking new car, and if that engine is rotten, you ain't going nowhere.
Nowhere. Stuck in park.
Exactly. So keep on trying to find the Ferraris in life, and be stuck with a Pinto of an engine. What that's gonna get you? You ain't going to work tomorrow.
Definitely not leaving the driveway.
Which brings me to tip number 6. Follow your own inner rhythm. There is no rules. There is no timeline or recipe in terms on how fast or how slow you should move within the relationship. The relationship has its own flow and will take a life of its own. For example, never did I ever imagine in a billion years, or plan for that matter, ever meeting someone for the very first time and feel totally comfortable, committed, free, and confident to marry him within 4 months of our very first conversation. I'm sure most people's thoughts were, she must be pregnant. Why so soon? They don't know what they're getting themselves into. It ain't gonna last, blah, blah, blah. But we knew.
Right.
We knew that connection we had. We knew that bond we had. In almost 15 years of marriage later, 5 kids and a happy home, we still together. We still growing daily. We still going strong. So I believe the more in sync we are within ourselves, we will attract more people who moves at a similar pace as us. And like, don't try to mimic your life on somebody else's relationship and the things that they did. I think that's why a lot of people fall. Well, she did it in 4 months. I can do it too. No, no, no. Don't be so happy to do that because it worked out for me. Don't mean it's gonna work out for you. We ain't the same people. We ain't putting off the same energies. We're not attracting the same things. So just move at your own inner rhythm, if that makes sense. So tip number 7, last but definitely not least, live a life of meaning. I'm going to say it again. Live a life of meaning. If you value and live your life's purpose, you will be like a walking beam of light. You will attract a partner who is happy and value his or her life's purpose, full of excitement, love, and fulfillment, and will also come from areas in your life that appeals to your interests and compatibilities. So that's super important. Live your best life, like Lil Duval say, living my best life. I ain't going back. Live a life of meaning. And you feel better when you live a life of meaning. You feel accomplished. You're excited for the day. If you have a plan of action, if you're getting things done, adding value to your life daily, you just feel accomplished. So guys, if you enjoyed these tips, okay, you can find the article online. I did paraphrase a bunch of the things that you heard on today in terms of the 7 tips that I gave. But the author's name is Michelle. I don't know how to say her last name.
Don't butcher it, child.
I would Mikey maybe. But she spells it Michele, and it might not even be Michelle, it might be Michele. I don't know.
Yeah.
Last name Meich apostrophe E. And the name of the article is called 7 Tips to Attract a Life Partners Who's Also Your Soulmate. So be sure to check that out if you miss any of the tips.
Let me ask you a question. You was about to be done?
No, go ahead.
Do you believe in, like, you only get one love in a lifetime? Do you believe in that?
I'm going to say this. I believe that in terms of relationships, whether they're friendships.
Wait, hold on. That whole soulmate thing. Do you believe there's just one? Like the one soulmate, one true love that you'll get in a lifetime?
I don't know. I can't answer that because I truly don't know. I'm unbiased. I can't say yes. I can't say no, but I know I'll have what I have.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I'm going to be saying this right, the ratios, but they say us women, we outweigh men 10-1.
Damn.
So if that's the case,
it's no way.
Is there really one soulmate?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would say in terms of the soul, there's different parts of us. You may connect with somebody soulfully on a friendship level. You may connect with somebody soulfully on a love level. You may connect soulfully with somebody on an interest level.
Intimacy, I was gonna say.
Or intimacy for that matter. So I would say there's different levels of soulmates, if that makes sense. In terms of those things that I just mentioned.
I would think the soulmate got all of that though.
Yeah, that too. But I can't say I don't know.
Okay.
But I know I have my soulmate.
Yeah.
But is there others? That's to be determined. And I feel like that's debatable. I feel like everybody gonna say something different because everybody has different experiences. But for me, I don't want to know because I'm truly happy with what I have. So I don't know. I don't care. I don't know.
Okay.
Because think about this. There's people who enter their second phase of life. Let's say they had a long marriage. Let's say, for example, their spouse might have passed away and they remarried and they totally happy at that level in their life.
Right.
So you could say, yeah. that's their second soulmate. They was
Right.
happy to find love again.
Right.
They're compatible. They click on that person in all levels. That helps, make them whole in a sense. So I don't know if there's more than one. I
Yeah.
would say maybe in different levels of life.
Yeah. Not
Worst
everybody.
case
Not everybody
scenario
gonna
had to
understand that
happen.
part.
If worst case scenario had to happen, God forbid something happens to me first, and my husband remarry, I would hope he would find a soulmate
Mhm.
because I wouldn't want to see him alone.
Because sometimes when their partner like die or whatever, some people, it's like they don't move on.
My mom didn't.
It's like they're stuck with, I will never find another one like you.
My mom, my dad, when my dad passed away, they were married 32 years. My mom and my dad got married. My mom was 17. My dad was 19.
Wow.
So at that point in time, he was all she knew. So getting back into the dating arena 32 years later, at the age of 50, was very hard for her. So she didn't ever see herself in the sense of, oh, I want to remarry again. It was more of companionship and friendship for her.
Right.
She didn't want to give herself again.
On that level.
Right. But she just wanted a companionship. Somebody to go on an occasional date with. Somebody to talk on the phone with. Occupy my time in that matter. So I would say, again, I don't know. Because if you think about it on them terms, you hear of people remarrying and finding love again after they lost a spouse and being totally happy. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But my plan, what I speak into existence, look, we're going to be together till we're 100 and something.
Amen.
We're going to hold each other's hand and die together.
Sometimes it happens too. Sometimes that happen when one dies, like the other one don't go. They're not too far behind them.
Me and Roger be clown all the time. He be like, when I pass away, if I go before you, he said, I want to be cremated. I said, nigga, I'm going to cremate you, but I'm going to eat your ass. You come in, I'm going to cremate you, I'm cooking you. Because you never leaving me. You going to grow apart with me. Like, that's on you. Do what you want. I like, but yeah, man, that's crazy. But, you think about life and you don't want to think about those things happening. Right. But you got to because it's reality. It's inevitable that you can't escape death. But
it's certain.
Yeah. I would say, I don't know. I think it's possible to have, that's a good pondering question. I would say it's possible to have more than one soulmate in life, in different stages of life.
I don't think so.
If possible.
I don't think so. I think you get one. That's just me. That's just me though, I think you just get one.
Yeah.
One and you're done.
I feel like you just get one.
Yeah.
But do I know? No.
Right. We're going to stay on the feelings of it. Do we know?
Yeah. I feel like I'm good. I feel like, we be talking about, say, we gonna get diapers and dentures together. He's like, I don't know what you talking about. My teeth ain't going nowhere, girl. I'm gonna be he said, I'm gonna be a cool old man. I say one thing, if you ever come around me with some khaki pants and some suspenders where I can see all your print, I ain't claiming you in public. The old men, I think they be doing that on purpose. With them bye.
Trying to get some attention with that.
Yeah, no, I ain't claiming you in public. But yeah. Well, guys, that concludes today's segment. I hope you enjoyed it. We hope that you had value added to you today. Might have brought up some questions you might not have thought about. Feel free to inbox us any questions you might have or any tips you want to let us know about that we might have missed out on today's episode. But we're going to move on right ahead and we're going to go straight into our tip of the day and our quote of the day. The tip of the day says, finding a playmate is easy, but finding your soulmate takes work. Fall in love with someone who doesn't make you feel love is hard.
Girl, one more time.
Finding a playmate is easy, but finding your soulmate takes work. Fall in love with someone who doesn't make you feel like love is hard. So I would say those tips that I gave you guys today, that's the hard work that this quote is talking about. So take that into consideration. you know. For me, like people be like, I remember when I, was a couple years into marriage and people would be like, girl, how is marriage? I love it. How's it treating you? Great. And it's, I don't want to put it out there, like, because, some people may not be on my same level of understanding and I don't want to mislead people. But for me, marriage is easy because we get each other.
It should be.
We know how to maneuver through it. We love loving each other. We love growing each other. We love hanging out. That's my best friend. Like, you don't see me, you don't see him. You see me, you see him. And I feel like that's how it should be. And that's not a requirement. That's just what we love to do. And for the quote of the day, a soulmate is someone whose way of viewing life is not necessarily the same as yours, but complements yours. There's not a compromise, there's a complement. That makes sense. A whole lot of sense. Because we don't have to have the same views, but we can know how to compromise. And sometimes that compromise might be something so simple as we're going to agree to disagree. I'm not trying to change you. You're not trying to change me, but we're just going to agree to disagree. And if we got to revisit this in the future, then we're going to revisit this in the future if it has some type of importance. We're just going to put this on the back burner for right now because I don't see what you see. You don't see what I see. Not saying that I'm wrong or you right or vice versa, but we just not there yet.
Right.
And that's okay. So guys, with that being said, that concludes episode 18 of our show. We hope you enjoyed it. It's been super fun. Thanks so much for tuning in to 1Lafayette Radio Music Station podcast. Once again, it's your girls, Lane Marie.
And Daisha Nicole.
Don't forget to cop that SP King James 725 album if you haven't already. It's available now in online stores. Closing us out is The Night, a song called Time Change, featuring Phase 1 and Phase 2, guys. You're going to enjoy this. It's off his new EP called The Process. You can find it on all major online stores. So please be sure to follow him on Instagram at 337DNight to get updates on new music. Peace, love, and gratitude. 1Lafayette, we are out.
Peace.
I've been through a lot, I've had ups and downs, but yet I thank the Lord that I'm still above ground. I had joyful times, but felt a lot of pain. I know that's part of life, every season gotta change. It's all in time change, we live as times change. See through my mind's eye, stuck in my mind's frame. Seasons in and seasons out, it's part of time change. Long sufferings and endurance, that's a part of pain. It's either do what's right, it's either do what's wrong. It's either straighten up my life or out of mama's home. It seems I just fucked up cause I broke a major rule. I quit school thinking it's cool, now what a fucking fool. Now I'm feeling every day that life is getting hard. What could I do, how could I straighten up, give my life to God? When daddy told me that I had no friends, I should've listened. Now I find another part of life that I was missing. And I know for sure that there's more to come in life. Like all the wrong things, but why can't I just find what's right? Everything that happens in life falls in line with time. Girlfriends that I thought I had, I finally none with mine. What's the future for me? Is there a future for me? It seems I'm going to rock that mama want me not to be. I know the day is coming soon that I'll be on my own. Faced with responsibilities because I'm getting grown. Been through a lot, I've had ups and downs, but yet I thank the Lord that I'm still above ground. I had joyful times, felt a lot of pain. I know that's part of life, every season gotta change. It's all in time change, we live as times change. See through my mind's eye, stuck in my mind's frame. Seasons in and seasons out, it's part of time change. Long sufferings and endurance, that's a part of pain. And I change,
cause that's the only way. It ain't no other way, my people, that's the only way. Switching up is like the easiest thing you can do. From the start to the finish, the results are you. You can be a leader or you can be a follower. I suggest you be a leader from the ones you following. Always wanted to be that one friend that could be called on. Little did I know my only friend was already called home. And she ain't coming back. I guess I got an angel now, but I ain't feeling that. The hand that I was dealt, I always try to give it back. Like mistakes are here to stay. Now you can't get no slack. No, you can't get a cut. You're fresh up out of luck. The choices that you made and left you all confused and stuck. But you can make it out even though it seems hard. Make a change by always trusting in the Lord.
I've been through a lot, I've had ups and downs, but yet I thank the Lord that I'm still above ground. I had joyful times, felt a lot of pain. I know that's part of life, every season gotta change. It's all in time change, we live as times change. See through my mind's eye, stuck in my mind's frame. Seasons in and seasons sufferings and endurance, that's a part of pain. It ain't easy walking this walk, living this life, especially when I got my mind on living it right. I've been fighting against myself and I'm still in this fight. It's like my spirit and my flesh keep feuding this strife. 1 second I'm thinking wrong, next second I'm thinking right. 1 minute I'm stuck like a deer staring at headlights. Next minute I'm stressing thinking I gotta get my bread right. Then I start thinking it won't matter if I'm dead, right? I can't take it with me crossing to the next life. I ain't flexing about balling cause I'm blessed, right? I'm rich in spirit, work way more than a zillion. So I refuse to sell my soul for holding $1 million. The Almighty got me covered, He holding His children. There ain't no need to wonder, see He'll show you His children. He prepared it for these hard times we still living. And if you look around and I'm not around, I'm still with Him. Been through a lot, I've had ups and downs, but yet I thank the Lord that I'm still above ground. I had joyful times, felt a lot of pain. I know that's part of life, every season gotta change. It's all in time change, we live as times change. See through my mind's eye, stuck in my mind's frame. Seasons in and seasons out, it's part of time change. Long sufferings and endurance, that's a part of pain. Been through a lot, I've had ups and downs, but yet I thank the Lord that I'm still above ground. I had joyful times, felt a lot of pain. I know that's part of life, every season gotta change. It's all in time change, we live as times change. See through my mind's eye, stuck in my mind's frame. Seasons in and seasons out, it's part of time change. Long sufferings and endurance, that's a part of pain. And I change.